I want to make a quick video about my writing journey. I'm on my second book now, and I just wanted to say for people out there that want to start writing, I would say that just start creating a habit of doing a little bit every day. We go and we eat our breakfast every morning, we go get our coffee every morning. It's like just write a little bit, just write a little bit of your story or whatever you want to write. I mean, sometimes people could write large comments. That's what I started doing. I was writing large comments on YouTube, and then I just decided, like, hey, I've been writing large comments in the people's comment sections for a while now, and I'm just like, instead of writing it in the comment section, I'll just write it inside of my laptop or inside of my phone and start making a story. And then from having the habit of doing that all the time, pretty soon I just started writing my first book. So now I'm working on my second book, and so I'm just down here at Target, and I just did about 30 pages. I don't know, I must have spent maybe 1 hour, I'm not really too sure. But start doing the math in your head, like how many pages do I do and how long does it take me to do them? And then you have to go back and you have to do a lot of editing and stuff. And right now where I'm at is I'm at the end of my story. So I'm going through everything and doing like a second and third draft. And so I did 30 pages. Maybe I was at it for about an hour and a half. I don't know how long. It was a while. But I'm taking massive action now because I'm coming down to the end of my story. So instead of just doing maybe 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes every other day, now I'm kind of focused on taking massive action. And so, I'm sitting down for 2 hours. One time I did 4 hour session going through everything, capitalizing all the I's, and now something else that came up is I want to change the characters' names, because the characters' names I just kind of didn't really put a lot of thought into them. So to go back and change the character names, it's pretty simple. I just scroll down real fast, and everywhere where I had the other name, I just type in the new name of the character. So I want to change just two of the characters' names. So it's just really simple. I'll just come up with a name and then I'll just go through there. But that is kind of time consuming. It could take about 15 or 30 minutes just to go through and change all the names. Other things that I need to do, I've got one more session where I'm going to have to do, I think it's going to be another 2 hour session or hour and a half session, because I have 30 more pages left to edit. And then I'll be finished. Then I got to go back and change those character names. That'll take me about a half an hour. And then what else do I mean, everything's math. When you start thinking about a lot of this stuff, everything's math, and every little bit that you do helps. So one day I took Friday off. I didn't do anything. I didn't do no YouTube. I didn't do no writing. I said I was going to do a big massive amount of work on Friday. Never got around to it. But on Saturday I did a little bit, and then today, Sunday, I did a little bit, pretty big chunks, maybe 2 hours each time. Tonight I'll probably do another 2 hours, and so then I'll be looking pretty good. Other things that I want to do with the story is basically I just want to tell you what's going on, because I was talking to my daughter and she was helping me edit it, and I was shooting her some ideas and talking back and forth, and she was like, man, this is really exciting, this is really fun working on a book. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot more to it than what you think, but really it's pretty simple. So I'm just gonna finish the last 30 pages editing, go back and change 2 of the characters' names that I don't really like. I want to change it to something else. 2 of the characters' names. A real quick read through real fast. That'll take me some time, because it's 130 pages, so that will take me some while. I just want to read back through the story real fast, make sure that it all makes sense. I'm already kind of done with the second draft as far as kind of when I go through, I kind of add some words or kind of structure some sentences better that I kind of got lazy on, or maybe, you know, I want to throw in some cool words and stuff. Here comes the guy with the loud rapping on his radio to distract everything and everybody around him for no apparent reason. So yeah, so that's about it. And what else? So then the next thing that I'll do is, I got to label the chapters, because I don't label the chapters as I go. I label the chapters when I'm all done with the book, and then when I go through and I read it all back, I'll go through and like everywhere where I feel like needs to be a chapter after I've read it, I'll be like, what did this chapter mean? What can I name this chapter? And then I name it, and I put like chapter 1 and I name it. Then I go and I read through again, and then I go, where does this kind of chapter section start and stop? And then I go, what can I call this chapter? And then I label it, and then I go to the next one until I'm done. So I'll have like, I don't know how many chapters I'll have when I'm all done. But what I do is on a separate piece of paper, I just put chapter 1, label it, and then as I go, then I'll put chapter 2 and I'll label it, and then I'll go and I'll put chapter 3 and I'll label it, and I'll put where the chapter, like what page the chapter starts on and ends next to it. So that way, once I have all my paper filled up, I could go back in the computer and I could put the chapters in. Or actually, I don't even have to do that. My publisher will do it for me. When I send them all the stuff, they'll be like, what are the chapters? And then I'll just send them the little breakdown sheet that says chapter 1 is page 1 through 5, chapter 2 is page 5 through 15, and so on and so forth. So I'll have all that. Then the last thing that I'll do is I'll write the about the author, which is probably the same in my first book, so I'll probably just send them the same one. Then I got to do a preface and an introduction, and then on the back of the book, when you talk about the story, those will be the last things that I'll write. And usually when I write those, are pretty quick. It only takes me about 15 minutes. Sometimes it takes me 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Sometimes it takes me an hour. It just depends on how well my brain's working that day. So anyways, there's still a lot to do, but I feel like I could get it done by the end of the week. And then in the meantime, I also have to do my illustrations. So what I do is when I go back and I read the book, I also start thinking of like which illustrations is going to be nice in the book at which point. Well, what are the maybe dramatic things or certain parts of the story or something that just really like kind of excites me, or I can see like, hey, this would look really cool right here, the knight in shining armor and he's shooting his bow and arrow at this particular person or whatever, and he knocks the guy's helmet off, and it's kind of like a scene maybe that, hey, this would be a really nice scene to do a little illustration for the reader. And I'll just make a little thumbnail illustration. I'll just draw a little thumbnail illustration like on a piece of paper, and I'll put on page 20, this is the illustration is going to go here. I get 10 illustrations in black and white for free, so that's usually what I do. And then that's it. Then I send them to my daughter, and my daughter, I take a picture of it, and I send it to, I do a little drawing, a little thumbnail. Then I do a nicer, bigger drawing, and then I take a picture of it, and I send it to my daughter. She puts it on the computer and kind of filters it and stuff, and then she'll send it back to me. So we could do all of those pretty quick. The thing that takes the longest is my cover art. My other daughter, she does really good with the cover art, so I'll draw up a sketch for her, do the same thing, take a picture, send it to her, and then that's when I hope and pray, like, oh my gosh, it depends on how long she takes to get back to me. It could be a week, it could be 2 months. That's the longest part of the process, is getting that cover artwork done. So I'll see what I'll do with about the cover art this time around. All three of my daughters do really good with artwork, so I'll probably just send it off to each of them, and whichever one gets back with some nice artwork first wins. Anyways, that's how I do it. That's how the process of writing a book is very fun. It's very, very exciting. Sometimes it can be painstaking. Sometimes you get all kinds of imaginations. You're fired, you're pumped, and sometimes it's kind of difficult to get motivated. But the thing of it is create the habit of doing it, and you could do it. Just create the habit of it. So even on those down days, you just do. If you could just get a little bit out, or maybe you need a day off, or maybe you need like a couple of days off and then you get back to it later. But try to create the habit, just like you're eating. You eat breakfast, you eat lunch, you eat dinner, you take a shower in the morning, you take a shower at night, and you just have a habit of doing it. That's the same with writing or doing any sort of hobby that you want to do well with. Is just create the habit of doing it, especially with writing. Writing, you have to create a habit of doing it. So I would recommend buying a laptop or something that you're going to do it on, and then just start adding to it, and it's great. It's awesome. I love doing it. So anyways, this is Ryan. Leave anything you want in the comment section, and have a good day. Peace. I'm out. Stay productive, stay positive. All right, late.